Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our session. We're just gonna wait a couple more minutes and allow people to jump in. We had a couple of other sessions before, so yeah, let's give ourselves a little bit more time. Okay, all right. So I think we can start. Thanks everyone for chiming in. This is our fourth session in this digital event. Today we're going to talk about the challenges, but also the opportunities that cross-platform gaming brings. I have our well, not ours, but Star Stable's wonderful Sue Shakiba, customer happiness mobile lead, joining us today to talk about this fascinating topic, at least to me. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you.
Great to have you on board. A few words before we jump into our discussion. A few words about cross-platform gaming. What do we talk about? We are referring, we're not just exploring the mobile games here, but we're also discussing games that are available on other devices like the PCs or consoles, etc. And of course, all of the challenges and opportunities that come with each of these platforms. Specifically today, as Sue is going to share with us in a bit, we talk about Star Stable Online, which is a game that started on desktop and then just a few years ago transitioned or moved into the mobile world as well. So I'm really eager to hear, Sue, a little bit, well, first a little bit about you for everyone to know what is your role at Star Stable, but also I would love to hear a bit about Star Stable as well.
Yes, sure. First, I would like to say that I'm so delighted to have the opportunity to participate in this gathering today and to be able to share some of my perspective with you. And I hope that you'll get something out of it. Well, one of our key goals is to ensure that our mobile apps have high level of user engagement. And in addition, I created and carried out the strategy for handling app reviews. And in addition, I coached and still ongoing mentoring our first line support staff members on how to monitor players' reviews and ratings, and successfully communicate with them in various situations based on their needs. Um, yes, that's the little background about that.
Thank you, Sue. Cool. Before I ask you a few questions about Star Stable, I just want to tell the audience that there is going to be a little poll. We want to know how many of you are gamers out there. I certainly am. Sue, are you a gamer?
I am definitely a gamer, and I have difficulty to stop playing games sometimes. So someone needs to tell me off to finish the game. Yes, I am.
That's really great. It's a great way to spend your time, to wind down as well. I appreciate that at the end of the day. Great. So tell me a little bit about the company first. What is Star Stable Online, the game, and how did this game start in the first place?
Yes, of course. So we established in 2011 in Stockholm, Sweden, and we are known for creating the popular horse game Star Stable Online on desktop, which is currently one of the number ones and fastest growing horse game worldwide. So we have also kind of expanded our game into include music, publishing books for our players, and having various mobile apps. And our mission is to inspire and celebrate the sisterhood, which is that our game is mainly made for girls and females. So we aim to have a positive global influence by making the gaming industry more open-minded and inclusive.
That is so sweet. I appreciate, yeah, the sisterhood around the game. So as I mentioned as well, the game started on desktop at the beginning, and I think it was just a couple of years ago that you built the game for mobile as well. How did you decide to make a mobile game? What led to that decision?
Well, we were super pumped to release the mobile version of Star Stable Online for players as well. It was one of the biggest feedbacks from our players that they wanted to have also be able to play on mobiles as well, and making it a breeze for them to hop on from PC or Mac to mobile as well. So our player have been absolutely excited about this, and we are so excited as well to bring together our horse loving people or player from different corners of the world. That was the main reason to have our game on mobile devices as well.
Mm-hmm. And I checked out the game a little bit. I think it lends itself very well for the mobile platform too. So it feels like it was a natural change for the game, which is great. But as we know, it's switching from one platform to another is not as easy as just pushing a button, especially for the product team who have to consider so many things about the well, it's almost like building a new game, right? So tell me a little bit about how the game is different on mobile
Of
compared to the
course.
desktop version.
Yeah. So our game remains unchanged on all platforms because we were considering that people like to download games which look familiar to them, and but it has been modified to suit the mobile version. As you may know, there are development differences between the mobile and PC versions, particularly in terms of UX or UI designs. And the most common remark we observe from our players, and which we still see from time to time, is that they mention and discuss the differences between playing the game on PC and playing on mobile. And this I perceive is due to their comfort and the experience they uh, are having. So mobile devices are not the same when it comes to the gaming function. For instance, that when using a computer to play a game, the player engage by clicking the keyboard buttons, whereas on phone the player taps on the screen, or the screen on the phone is smaller than
Hmm.
the screen on the computer, of course. But the mobile games are usually not as fancy as PC games when it comes to gameplay option and graphics.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely, absolutely, and that's something that I wanted to tap into. If the limitations, because I mean, I would imagine, and I think it is the case. Obviously, every platform would have its own limitations and requirements, and I do imagine that somehow to some extent the gaming experience will be different. So I just want to ask, like, how are these limitations affecting the game?
So I can answer in this way. When we studying mobile and PC game, I believe it is critical to consider the general usability of gamers, and just think about, is comfort the most important factor for gamers, or do they love carrying the game around with them without considering the comfort? And the game on mobile, of course, has less powerful hardware and has smaller screens, so players might not get as many options as they have when they play on PC, with better graphics or a lot of control options. But on the other hand, PCs can be pricier for them, and not easy to take with go on. So that's why developers must consider also the various devices players might use, including both old and new ones with different capabilities. And as a result, some features may left out for the mobile versions to make sure that the game is running smoothly for everyone, no matter what device they have. And it's important that players truly enjoy the game, regardless of the advantages or advantages that may encounter when it comes to the mobile game.
Exactly, and I really like that perspective. And I think, despite these limitations, it's also important to look at to look at each platform from the perspective of what you can do, and what new things you can bring into the game that you might not be able to do with the desktop version. Great. Before I do want to ask you about the audience and how they perceived it, but before that, there's one curiosity that I have, which is around the monetization system, because the monetizations are differ obviously from one platform to another, and in the mobile on mobile specifically. Very often the monetization will also impact the gameplay and the success of the players inside the game. So how has your monetization strategy changed from desktop to mobile?
Yes, since launching the mobile version, the prices on the mobile differed solely when compared to the desktop version, and this was primarily due to the requirements and higher fees imposed by the App Store. We have been giving our marketing strategy a lot of attention. We recognize the need to be more specific in developing a monetization strategy for mobile, as our players have given us feedback regarding pricing and they desire to have more in-app purchases deals for mobile devices. So in response to this, we have been excitingly kind of working on introducing more in-app purchases deals, such as one-time payments, subscription, and other different deals, depends on the items we have, while also expanding payment option to include the most widely available payment methods that players are looking for.
Absolutely, and that sounds really great. So yeah, how did the players perceive these differences from desktop to mobile? Were they bothered by them? Like lacking any features? You mentioned that they were not necessarily because of their age, right? And maybe you can tell us a little bit about your audience as well. I understand they're quite young; they might not be as tech savvy. So, what was the feedback, and what was your communication strategy as well?
When I joined our mobile team. Our game was already released on mobile and being enjoyed by our players. So we started out experiencing challenges with some of our younger players, as you mentioned, Donna, who had certain expectation for the mobile version that underlined these variations. However, it looked like we have investigated a strategy that will help our players to understand these differences between the mobile and the desktop versions. And as a result, we wanted to progressively enlighten players about the limitation and the differences of the mobile edition via the App Store, and our engagement with them and the creation of the mobile FAQ on our page as well. Just add as much as possible information for them available. And our goal was to support and assist players in releasing the mobile version, was designed to make the game more accessible for them, enabling them to play whenever and wherever they wanted.
All right, all right. How does it look like today? Do you feel like the game was released like in 2020?
Yes.
Right? How do you feel like the players are more at ease with the mobile version now?
Yes, they are. I see the big difference compared to the beginning. It was like they are more used to the controls, the way they need to interact with the game. So there is a big difference comparing their expression from the beginning till now. And we improved a lot of stuff in our app as well to make it more user friendly and to accomplish some of their, wants and desires in the game.
Amazing, amazing. Great to hear that. Okay, I wanna jump a little bit into engagement since we are talking about sorry about your users here. So aside from the product related aspects, cross-platform gaming comes also with engagement challenges, right? You have to manage. Your team manages the reviews in the app stores, but I'm pretty sure you also have. There's also a team that manages the social media. So there are, as you add more platforms, there are different channels. There are more and more channels of communication that you have to handle. What channels exactly do you use to interact with your players, and also maybe you can tell me how the communication is different in app reviews, for example, compared to social media.
Yeah. Before we start with our app review and rating strategy, we or our community team maintain a presence on social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. While we started to handle app review and rating management. So one of the aims of our customer experience strategy was to develop relationship with the mobile players and to boost our availability to the App Store platform as well. So the player will notice that we are also available there for help, for support, for anything that is related to the mobile game. And I have noticed a difference in a way that player express themselves about
Mhm.
our game on the App Store and social media. On the App Store, our players' feedback is more constructive, detailed, and specific regarding game features and desires. And conversely, social media comments tend to be more casual and direct and expressing either liking or disliking. And I think it was so surprising to see this difference in feedback styles across this platform, considering that the same players could be interacting on both. And I believe this is because our players have recognized that like we developers directly influence the App Store, and we are available there. Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. I guess I'm trying to rationalize why the same players would behave differently from one platform to another, and I think when you're in the App Store, you are required to leave feedback. You are asked the question like, "How would you rate this?" So it is a very fixed form, right?
Exactly.
That the players have to follow, and then on social media, it's very conversational. So I guess it's
I
less
will
for.
also add that during our like strategy implementing, we try to teach our players in a way that we are here to support you, and we also started to implement some troubleshooting that is related to the mobile issue. So we somehow showed them that how we communicate with them, so they know how they in return to talk with us and communicate with us too. Yeah.
And especially, I think it's also important to shape, considering they're so young, right?
Exactly.
To shape how they communicate and to send the
That's,
right message. They're still at the age where I guess they're copying.
yeah.
So it's yeah, very good, very good. Talk to me a bit more about your approach to player engagement in general.
Well, our interaction with our mobile players and their app review was somewhat in the beginning little. So my primary strategic objective plan was to incorporate more personalized responses to reviews and avoid our responses sounding like generic automated replies. And the objective of my research when I started to implement this strategy was to ensure that our responses were more adequate, acknowledging and solution oriented that they have been kind of in the past. And when interacting with customers through written correspondence, I strongly believe in the importance of active listening, since it allows for positive communication that makes users feel heard and understood. And based on my work experience working within customer experience, I believe that establishing lasting connections with customers and responses that are trustworthy, solution oriented, and demonstrate true sympathy are important and fundamental. And while sometimes might be difficult to find a clear solution, or maybe we may not have any solution, but we can be sure that customers or our users or players leave feeling satisfied, like they just had a personal and connected conversation. That I believe strongly.
That's amazing. And you've said it so beautifully. All right. There's, of course, there's a lot of, by adding several, like multiple platforms to your strategy, you are increasing the pool of, you're increasing basically also the number of feedback sources, right? So what you're getting probably for desktop is not the same as for mobile, or what you're getting in reviews might not be the same as you're getting in social media. So how do you juggle these various sources of feedback? What is how do you collect all of this feedback? Are you using any tools or?
Mainly, we use AppFollow tool, of course, but we actively gather our players' feedback for the different platforms. We gather from social media, we gather from the tickets we receive, and most likely we gather all the feedbacks from app reviews as well, categorizing the reviews based on topics and such as bugs, future feedbacks, recommendation, wants and needs, and so on. It's you can go on and on. And then this information is then shared within our teams to identify areas for improvement or implementation to see if what we can do, what we cannot do. And additionally, we always follow up with players to discuss which changes are feasible, which ones may not be. And our goal is to communicate with them directly, honestly, and sympathetically. So that's the best way to keep them informed.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, I don't have any other questions. Maybe before we wrap up, we can have a look at the chat. There are no questions yet. So maybe Sue, are there any final recommendations from you and from Star Stable to those who are developing games for other platforms?
Of course. If you want to include an app review and rating strategy for your product, it is important to understand the mindset of your gamers, and it's because gamers or players are passionate and they express their emotion a lot. It's not just about playing. They have high expectation, and it's important to provide solutions. So work closely with your developer teams to address any issues they may have. And gaming is not just about playing the game, it's also about emotional experience and the social interaction players they have that comes with it. And players often engage with games in various way and share tips and opinion with other ones, or with their friends within the game. So to provide a good user experience, it's important to engage with players and to build a good relationship with them and communicate effectively. And I believe that to personalize your answers or replies to each player and make sure that they are comprehensive and delivered in a right tone, but that I mean not overly formal, not too casual, but still inviting and professional. Um, and also be cautious with your responses as they can impact brand loyalty if not careful. Implement a well-structured user engagement strategy with training and communication skills for customer support staff, which I believe is super important. And avoid errors, typos, misinformation, or repetition, or any robotic language, and using even, which I'm highly against, to using macros or copy paste responses. So personalize and validate replies to each review, and this will help users to feel heard and receive strong support from you. But last and not least, ensure that you continue to provide ongoing direction. Don't forget about your first line staff, a restatement of your objective. That would be also helpful to remind them time to time, and support as needed to your support staff members.
Amazing, amazing, Sue. I think to what you said about being aware of players' emotions, I think gaming customers are the most emotional category of customers.
Yes.
It's so, I don't know, like the experience of playing games, I guess it's so personal, and it's good. Sometimes it can become toxic, but I think it's a category of consumers that is like very, very, very engaged. They will always share feedback. You will always know what they like and what they do not like.
Yes,
No,
exactly. And they always come back with replies. Always, always.
exactly, exactly. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. There are some questions in the chat from email and social. So A question to you, probably, Sue. Which features were the toughest to adapt or exclude in the mobile version?
Oh, it's actually the UX designs that was the most challenging part to manage to make it like as optimal as possible for our players, because we have so many mobile players and they have so many different expectations. So to reflect on each is a bit difficult, but the best way is to see what is the most wanted request regarding the UX design and their interaction with the game is, and then try to see what you can do to make it happen in the game.
All right. And then another question, given the vast amount of input you receive, how do you prioritize which feedback to act upon? That's very fun.
When it comes to pressurizing reviews, we pay attention almost to all the reviews, expect those, no text or just positive. Of course, we also interact with positive reviews as well to thank them for the time they left reviews for us. But we prioritize our negative reviews, our reviews that is about a bug in the game, and also we pay attention to the long reviews because it's always have some constructive and good feedbacks in their reviews as well. So we pay attention to those ones as well. Yes, that's what we do, and of course we pay attention to our replies when players come back with the reply. We make sure to answer in a good time, to not keep them waiting for us.
That's very nice. That's very nice. Well, Sue, thank you so much for your time. This was a wonderful
Thank
discussion.
you.
Kate, I see you in the chat waiting for AppFollow to burst into PC Games promotion. Me too. Hopefully, we don't know. Maybe not. Sue, you were wonderful today. Thank you, everyone, for your attention. And stay tuned for the next session, which is basically a networking lounge. So if you want to if you want to connect with other people, please do. Our moderator will leave the link in the chat very soon. So maybe just, stick around to check out the link, basically. All right. And yeah, I think that will be it. I wonder where our moderators are. Okay. All right. And there's the link as well. Yes. Thank you. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a lovely
Bye, everyone, and thank you for having me. Take care.
Thank you, Sue. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.